Hey guys, I'm Melanie Hinds. I'm your fastest Iraqi Dinar summary on the net. I'm very chilled today because it's rainy and cool. And so don't judge me for what I'm wearing in May, right? This is a May 2nd video. I'm a Florida girl living in Maine. I don't know. Until the Iraqi Dinar happens, we can't move. Anyways, so look, I give you breaking news out of Iraq. I'm really kind of tired because I had lunch with my husband on his last day off, and then he goes back to work. So I will be live 2 times tomorrow. Just subscribe, tap the bell. Trust me, it's worth it. I give you truth, facts, and optimism. I also can discern all the lies on the AI channels. I just did a short about that, but whatever. It doesn't matter. I love you all unconditionally. I get that you're anxious for as much breaking news as possible. I'm your breaking news channel. You really don't have to go any further than here. So guys, there's a lot going on in Pakistan, Kashmir. There's a lot. Kirkuk's police nabbed a suspect in a murder of a Kurdish taxi driver. Why? Because their systems are allowing them to catch the criminals. They are celebrating their culture in Iraq. Lebanon warns Hamas, don't jeopardize our security. There was also fearing escalation. Pakistan's Kashmir orders people to stock up on food requirements. That's Pakistan though, right? The Middle East is crazy. But al-Sudani says Iraq is going to drive solutions to the regional crises. Iraq is the stabilizing force. They're stable and secure. They're also being very vocal that they're working with Iraq and will even be willing to host the next phase of talks between U.S. and Iran in Baghdad. He's offered that up, which I think is a good idea. He's part of the stabilizing force. And then at the Ramat David Air Base, the Houthis escalate attacks on Israel, and evidently they hit their air base. That's part of the news that came through today. But if you watched my live stream from last night, my Margaritas and Manifestations, it had breaking news from Iraq, and the guys on the ground shared a video of what their plan is over there and how successful they've been. So they got one through, I guess. And then there was another article, Can Made in Iraq Rise Again? Challenges and Hopes for Local Manufacturing. Well, we've seen lots of companies do memorandums of understanding and agreements to bring manufacturing back to Iraq, like the silica plants that I profiled, I think, just yesterday. And then also all the new, their farms, vertical farming. They've solved their water crisis. They've solved their electricity crisis. So, and transport reveals progress at the Grand Fall port. That was a detailed article today. They've made progress there. Also, the PM advisor says tax deposits are part of the budget. Guys, it's a budget line because now they're withholding taxes from the new employees, both the employees at the government level that are part of their digital system. There's only 3.6% of the population, according to last November's census, that is in the retirement age. So they are collecting payroll taxes for all, because the 60-some% of their population is in working age, which is over 15 and under 64. So, or including 64. So the Ministry of Electricity, Iraq has signed major agreements to produce up to 38,000 megawatts of power. They have signed agreements or memorandums of understanding with both Siemens, a German company, and General Electric, an American company. Guys, they have got everything ready to be revalued. The foreign minister, Tehran and Washington agreement is the key to easing tensions. That's something I think I may, you guys are a little tense. I get it because you're all sending me all these AI channel articles. The Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Fawad Hussein said the agreement between Iran and the United States would help ease regional tensions and enhance stability during an official visit to the Omani capital. And that's when he said Hussein also reiterated Iraq's readiness to host the upcoming Arab summit in May, expressing hope that gathering would yield positive outcomes that strengthen joint Arab action and promote stability and development across the region. During the meeting, he also reviewed the outcomes of his recent visit to Washington, where discussions with U.S. officials focused on bilateral cooperation and the U.S. role in supporting Iraq and broader regional stability. Guys, we are back to wanting the Abraham Accords, which were instituted first during Trump's first term in office. They're going through that again. And so I believe we're going to have peace in the Middle East. Talks also address the ongoing negotiations between Iran and the United States. Minister al-Busadi provided an update on the latest developments, reaffirming Oman's continued efforts to foster constructive dialogue between the two sides. He commended Oman's balanced and active role in facilitating the talks, emphasizing that a potential agreement would contribute significantly to reducing tensions and reinforcing stability in the Middle East. And my palm is itching. Anybody else, guys? I feel like this thing is done. The two sides discussed the importance of ongoing political and diplomatic coordination between Baghdad and Muscat, along with cooperation on security, cultural exchange, and the activation of joint mechanisms for following up on agreements and memorandums of understanding. Joint mechanisms. What are those mechanisms? A digitized system where all the contracts are tokenized in the system. Agreements and MOUs followed up on because they're in the system and they know they need to be ticked off. I mean, it's really easy to keep a running list if you got AI running your system. I'm just saying. Harder if you're a human content provider up against AI that can churn out videos and subscribers out of thin air. I'm just saying. Based on our intel, human intel. It's kind of funny, but the joy of the Lord is my strength, so that's why I'm laughing. I can't to contain it. That those channels are growing faster than mine ever did. I'm just saying. It's kind of unfair, just because they're using human intel to chump out these videos for you with these clickbait, literally thumbnails generated by AI. It's like, how do I compete with that? I don't know. I'm going to pray about that. If I weren't so tired, it wouldn't be so funny, but it is. So guys, let me tell you, there's going to be peace in the Middle East. You have to believe it and you have to pray for it. The Prime Minister extends housing and, this was the biggest breaking news. Sorry, it took me 6 minutes to get there because your girl had a sandwich. Carbs, tired. Prime Minister extends housing and loan benefits to private sector workers. What does that mean? Guys, we have the breaking news out of Iraq was one of their facilitators has a loan in process where they had dropped 2 zeros from the in-country nominal rate, program rate. Well, the Prime Minister is extending housing and loan benefits to private sector workers. So, and residential land allocations. They're allocating land to certain people and you can qualify for these lower priced loans. So what do you think about that? Boom, that's great news, guys. And he did that on the occasion of International Workers' Day. So that was late yesterday. We just got that article today. We were breaking news out of Iraq. And so I'm your one-stop shop. You don't need to worry about all these other channels. Stay tuned here because I give you a summary every single day. In fact, several people sent me AI channels today. So that's why I'm doing the summary right now so I can finish the rest of the afternoon with my husband and have a good dinner and spend some quality time with my hubby and my family. So 7 minutes, now we're going to everybody else. This is everybody else. I'm not responsible for this information. I'm not responsible for this information when they talk all sorts of things. I'm just saying, you decide what you believe. I'm presenting it. You decide what you believe. This is Militiaman article. Iraq is in a prosperous area despite difficulties. I agree with him. I agree with most of the bigger intel providers. They're human. The inflation index remained below. Yeah, their inflation rate was like 2.7%. In my view, the data shows the Central Bank of Iraq has done a very good job with their reform programs, keeping inflation low, which is a good component that does support that if they have a revaluation of their currency, it is a component of that process. There's confidence. This is a testimony of it. Iraq has that security and stability that we've been talking about. Yes, they do. I agree with you. Fun Lou says, I want to dispel the intel concerning the floor of sustainability for crude oil prices. The current budget calculated everything based on $40 a barrel. I'm not so sure about that, but I don't know who Fun Lou is anyway. Iraq is in no way in the danger zone with 65 per barrel. However, it will definitely slow the pace to about half speed on the secondary projects of the primary projects. Iraq does not need to revalue dinar to keep the work moving forward. Do you agree with that? I don't. I do not agree with that. Frank 26, we love Frank 26. He says, Mr. Sammy says that Iraq is the man. He has brought back to Iraq to run the CBI. He was brought back to Iraq to run the CBI, and he was brought back to control the rate. He worked with Shabibi before his health went bad. Allah knows the plan. Frank said, thank you, Mr. Sammy. I'm going to give in because you guys are there. He will release the new exchange rate. Therefore, he's in control, but he will release it when it is given to him. Firefly, that's why they, Parliament, have tried for so long to get Alak out of his job. They know he's working on changing the rate. Guys, Al-Alak is the governor of the central bank. He is the one who this is in the hands with. I always agree with Frank. And, you know, probably because he's a person of faith and people of faith can see things that people that don't have faith can't. Not that I don't know what the faith says of everybody else. So here, this is Mountain Goat. I'm trying to stay out of trouble. Article, the majority of Iraq's financial assets are in U.S. dollars. Al-Sudani's advisor discusses linking Iraqi banks to U.S. banks. Oh, yeah, that's being done. for sure, based on my contacts. This news is, of course, fantastic news, as it is showing us that Iraq is slowly getting back to normalcy and the final nail on the currency platform is done. We must think of why the currency auction was set up in the first place and know it had to entirely end someday. It's already ended, guys. We proved that. I believe this day has come in June, and this article will show us nobody knows, guys. Nobody really knows the timing. If they say they know the day and timing, like all the AI channels are claiming, they're lying to you. It's clickbait. Don't fall for it. Stay here. Truth, facts, and optimism. Yada. For this rate to delay another month would mean they'd have to freeze all they've done up till now. $26 billion worth of oil not flowed from Iraq to Turkey, and all you need is a rate to populate. U.S. is pushing to get it restarted. Billions invested money from companies arrived in Iraq the past 3 weeks, and doubt they will just sit on it with no rate change. There is much said in these articles, as well as prep applications of Iraq, to indicate the rate release is upon us. Yeah, like thousands of MOUs they've signed and agreements. They still haven't been signing a ton of contracts. They've only signed a couple contracts. Guys, what do you think? So Frank 26, this was yesterday. Keep in mind that Iraq is the one that's actually going to pull the trigger on the new exchange rate when they tell them to do it. Who's going to tell them to do it? I'm thinking the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, all of which who said in lockstep that Iraq is secure and stable. So I think it's any time now. So, and remember, like, Sudani has increased the non-oil revenues. Some of the articles today was evidence of that. Right? The Afar port, all of that. It's not all oil related. They've increased their non-oil revenues. Even their taxes are going to be a non-oil revenue, right? Do you think our tax dollars are not revenue to the United States? It is. Actually, student loan debt is one of the biggest line of assets on the government balance sheet, if you really want to know the truth. And the rest, I think, should be audited. I'm all for audits. What do you think? I'm just saying, they should be audited. So, guys, that's my summary. What do you think? Guys, I'll be live again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. Just look for it's the Sabbath, so I don't know. But I'll be live when I get up for coffee because I'm pretty tired. It's been a long week for me. It's been a long 4 or 5 months, and this weather, I just took my vitamin D3. I haven't got my vitamin D stores up, so I'm a little grumpy, I'm a little tired, and therefore I can get sad. So if you have any kind of seasonal affectiveness disorder, just realize it's not you, it's the lack of sunlight, and you're gonna get through. Please join me. I'll help you get through it because I'm going through it too. I love you all. May the peace of Christ always rule and reign in your heart, and may you live long and prosper. Amen. This is about to happen. What do you think? Comment down below. Comment, you're my bestie on the internet. I think I'm the bestie in terms of giving you the quickest summaries. Okay? And I'll post the shorts later. Bye.